All right, so here is the thrust. Watch this.
Well, that's forward. Let me go backwards somewhere.
It's about 40 thousandths when we measured it externally. It's moving a lot. All right, guys, so JW and Brian, we're knocking this thing out. We almost got it ready to pull out. All the bell housing bolts are done. Flex plate's done. Just got to start loosening all this stuff up from the bottom, start taking all the external stuff off. All right, guys, so we got all the external stuff disconnected. You can get this stuff taken apart in a fairly quick time. It's just a matter of just getting it done. So we're gonna pull it out here. We'll have it out and on the engine stand in about 10 minutes. All right, guys, the motor is out. The engine is out, not too bad. So now comes the part where we get to take it apart. Not too bad. These things are very easy. This is a Gen 1 small block Chevrolet. It is some pretty nice stuff. It's a aluminum Brodix block. It's got aluminum profiler heads. It's got aluminum rods in it, CP pistons, a scat crankshaft. The aluminum rods are MGPs. Pretty basic stuff, 23 degree stuff, 210cc runner on the heads. They are unported. They are as from the factory. This motor in this car has been 160 miles per hour. It's pretty fast, and the motor is hurt. Now, when we heard it, we don't know exactly. Got a lot of thrust play in it, a lot of 40 thousandths. Crankshaft is going to need to be welded up. And once we weld the crankshaft up, then we'll have to get it surfaced down. May try to get up with Kevin Mullins at TKM and see what their time frame is to make this thing a roller thrust. May go ahead and do that. You know, turbo motors are hard on thrust. They push, the torque converters push. That's what they do. As they push, you know, if the oil layer breaks down or if something happens in the, you know, the pressures on the transmission, the torque converter, then it makes it so that it knocks out the thrust. Now, I don't know when this one got knocked out. We hadn't really been checking it. Motor's been running good, just developed a little bit of skip. We also noticed that it was getting some water in a cylinder occasionally. So we put some pressure on it. We did a compression check. Compression check turned out to where that whole bank on the passenger side is a little low, but particularly number 8 is the lowest. We put compressed air in the cylinder. It bubbled in the overflow tank. So when it bubbled in the overflow tank, that means it's not sealing. Now, copperhead gaskets are hard to seal, but that is actually, you know, that's a problem. You don't want it to do that. So we have retorqued these heads one time, but we're going to go ahead and snatch this thing apart. And you can see there's some oil leakage. This motor's been together for a year, and you know it's pretty dry up here. There's a little bit of oil, but it looks like down, like at the head gasket down here is where it's been leaking. At first I thought it was the valve cover, but you can see it's pretty dry up there. But down here is definitely some seepage. We run Clark head gaskets on it. We had to have pop top pistons in it. The compression ratio is like 11.5 to 1 or something. So, you know, when we pumped it, we ain't got no compression. Something to do a valve job on it, get the valves touched up there again because it's a year old. Big block Chevy snout on the crankshaft. You know, it's pretty basic 409 small block Chevrolet. Some pretty good parts in it, and the thing runs good, man. It really runs good. I was hoping I would be doing this at the end of the year, but, you know, it is what it is. This weekend, to the T, is the motor's been together in the car for a year. If y'all followed the channel, y'all understand that we race this car a lot. We make a lot of passes. And so I ain't mad at it. Can't be mad at it. Here we go. Let's take it apart and see what we got. So if y'all have never seen this, this is a Brodus block. They call it a late model block, I think. All this is exposed. It's a little odd. Got to help with airflow, but basically the bell housing is right here, and all this is exposed. I don't know that it hadn't caused me an issue yet. I don't know that I'm particularly fond of it for the reason that if you drop a bolt down there, or if you drop a wire down there, then it's going to go right to the flex plate. Hadn't had that happen yet though, so I've been a little careful, I guess. But yeah, so JW is going to go ahead and take the intake off of it real fast. I'm going to roll this through, and you have to be very careful taking these apart. A lot of people, if you do this, if you loosen this one, and this one, it don't matter which order you loosen this in, the odds of you breaking this shaft here are very high. I have done that. If you get it on the compression stroke, so both of these are up, so the springs are up and there's not compression, then you can just take all three of them off. And you don't have to do it in any particular order, but you just spin the motor over till it's on this, and then you boop, and then you take it off, and you take it off, and then you take it off. And then, like obviously these two are way down. You would not take these off at all until you run the motor over. Let's pull that apart real quick. Guys, so we got the intake off of it. JW got it off. I got all the rock arms off. That stuff come off easy. We did find something. We don't know what it is. It was down there. This is a piece of hardened steel. It looks like some type of clip. It is hardened steel. It was right here. So we're in the process of trying to figure out what this is exactly. It's got like it almost looks like Brian says, looks like an E-clip of some sort, or maybe like a circular clip. We don't see anything on the lifters on how we're gonna have to clean everything real good. It clearly come from something. Thought maybe the rocker arms, but we don't see it in the rocker arms. We're gonna keep looking. We're gonna keep taking it apart. What you think?
We're getting there.
All right, guys, so JW's pulling the head off of it. Go ahead and snatch that one off. A little hard to get off with them studs sometimes. There you go. There you go. So all the compression over here on this one was good, and we copper coat everything. So this one seems like it's probably in good shape. You wanna go ahead and snatch the other one off? And now it's sealed real good, but all right, so gotta gently wobble these things off. Sometimes they get wedged. You just have to pry them off. Okay. So this is the one that was leaking. I mean, the gasket's not blown, but it was clearly seeping water. So these are Clark gaskets. So don't see anything wrong with the gaskets. This is O-ring. Look at the water that's been coming through this one. Look at that stud right there.
Oh yeah. It's just leaking past.
Yeah.
Right there.
God, look at that. I mean, flip it over.
Yeah, this thing is wet.
I mean, the gasket's not blown. It's just, I mean, this copperhead gasket seeping is what it is.
That O-ring may be pushed down a little bit right there.
Might need to get a little bit thicker O-ring maybe.
It's been getting water around the top of this, all three of them.
Yeah.
And that one. And that one.
Might need to get, like you said, maybe get the O-ring a little bit more protruding. A little bit bigger. I mean, we could do top fuel hoops. I don't know. I mean, it's a big bore. We got a very big bore for this thing. Did I label those? Which one's which? All right, guys, so what you have to do, the hard mount balancer comes off like normal, but this is a belt drive from, I don't remember the company. They're in Mooresville. Shoot, I can't remember the name at all. But Jezel's, all of them are the same. You got, these are a 1/4 inch thread, and basically there's 3 bolts, 3 holes. You screw those down in there, and then you pull that center socket off. What we're going to do first, before we do that though, we're going to go ahead and take this nut off. We got to take this out of the way, the timing pointer, and then this will basically pop off. All right, guys. So we just got this thing off. So something to note as well, on this small block Chevrolet, this is not a lefty loosey thread. This is a righty loosey. The reason they put a left-hand thread on this is because as the motor turns, as the crankshaft turns the camshaft, if it was a normal thread, the tendency would be for that to kind of try to back out. Now you can see this is just pops right off. Nothing to it. We do need to get us a new belt. Actually, did I put a new belt on that this year?
It looks, don't look bad. It looks new.
I don't remember if I put a new one on it or not, but it's been a year old, so we'll probably stick a new belt on it. So now we're ready. We're gonna go ahead and pull this off, and then we'll take the rest of these off. And actually, we gotta take this off too. That's how the camshaft comes out. So we'll pull this off, take these nuts off, pull the camshaft out, then take the timing cover off very carefully, and then we'll be good. And you can see here, I mean, this is belt wearing, so it's probably a good idea to have a belt replacement. All right, guys, so the front is off. So cam's out, timing cover's off. So now all we got left to do is we'll snap all the pistons out of it real quick. Look at that surface. That surface is good.
I say shove it over there in that corner though and buy a big block Chevrolet.
That's what I really want to do, really. All right, guys, here's all the pistons and rods. Everything looks fantastic. The bearings look good. This is the upper bearing. That's the one that usually gets pounded out if you are detonating, which we had a pretty safe tune-up in it. That right there, that is material. Probably from where the thrust got killed. It's not on all of them. Like, some of those are perfect. They are really, really good shape. That's number 8. That is the one that had the coolant coming in it. Nothing wrong with this piston. These pistons, man, these are CP bullet pistons. Richard turned me on to these a while back, and these have been in the motor for a pretty good long time. The thing you want to look at is down there where the bosses go out. You can see the fly cut on the piston. You want to look to make sure there's no cracks down there, because they will crack the pin bosses. So that's what you want to look at. So just investigate down in there real good, make sure there's no cracks, make sure you don't see any type of unusual wear on the skirts, which as you put the rod stroke angle changes, you know, you get a little bit of additional wear, but it's not terrible. The rings are good. Nothing is stuck. That's one of the things you'll see. Sometimes you'll pull a piston out and the ring will be stuck, and you won't actually be able to do that right there as far as just push it around. So all these look good, man. A lot of people change rods every season, but we don't go quite that extreme. And you know, we're a pretty good horsepower, but these are very high horsepower rods. But the thing with aluminum is it is simply a heat cycle thing. The more you heat cycle them, the more they apparently fatigue, and at some point they will break. I have broken some, but you know, these things, man, they're in good shape. These are standard small block Chevrolet 6-inch rods. All right, so JW is pulling out the studs or the main caps. So this is a splayed cap. Like I said, this is a very lightweight block. Bought this thing, we had to put a couple cylinders in it. Danny over at B&D Performance, they put sleeves in it, got it all hooked up, did all the balancing on everything. This thing is like butter smooth still. No, with these caps, they are lightweight, so they're scalloped, but you have to take these out in order to get the cap off. So he's gonna do that. And looking at the thrust back here, I'll show y'all a little bit better on the thrust what's happened. You can see the cracks in it. You can see that it is worn. So simply what's going to have to happen is that's going to need to get a bead of weld on it. I might hit up Kevin Mullins. That's how much thrust it actually has. You can see it. That is too much. That is way too much. I might hit up Kevin Mullins and see if they can do a roller thrust on it. Basically what happens is they come up here in the front, they machine the block in the cap and the crankshaft, and they put a Torrington bearing there. So basically what happens is the Torrington bearing is now pushing on the cap and the block, and that is what's going to give it way more strength than a Babbitt style bearing. And that's, you know, that's just all there is to it. It's way better. So I'm gonna hit him up and see what, you know, their time frame is and see how much it costs. I still want a big block. I want a big block, but I may have to stay small block. So, but it depends. I'm not gonna put a ton of money in this thing. All right, guys, the block, everything is out, disassembled. Crankshaft looks really, really good. All the bearings look really, really good, except the thrust bearing back here in the back is destroyed. So tomorrow is Monday, is Labor Day. So we'll be trying to find, I don't know if Danny and them are open or not, but we're going to be trying to find parts and pieces, get out a game plan. JJ the Boss's race is this weekend, is in 5 days. Probably not going to make that just because this is, I mean, it's a lot. And I've got to decide what I'm gonna do. Full O-ring, the wire ring sticking out of the block is a little corroded. It's stainless steel. Stainless steel does not corrode as much, but it is corroded from where, you know, the water has been seeping by. So it's just one of those things. We'll get that new ring put in that one, get the block cleaned up. Crankshaft's in good shape. It is perfectly fine. Appreciate the help. You and Brian killed it for me. He's fixing to go big block too. Am I going to be the only one left with a small block?
Yeah, most likely.
Randy's going to be the only one left with a... I'm going to go big block too at some point. I promise you. I promise you. You know what's wrong? There's no engine in it.
Oh, yeah.
The engine's gone. How am I supposed to compete at Race Wars? We got no engine. We've got no engine. Fast and Furious quote. I watched it the other night. All right, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all want to support the channel, hit that bell, get notified when we post a video, and go to turbojohnracing.com to grab some hats, t-shirts, and sweatshirt season is coming. Later, guys.